The discovery. The vast expanse of space stretched out before Captain Ilara Voss as she stood on the bridge of the TSS Horizon, her eyes fixed on the swirling nebula that dominated the viewscreen. The colors danced and shifted, a mesmerizing display of cosmic beauty that never failed to leave her in awe. But today, something was different. There was a disturbance in the nebula's pattern, a subtle anomaly that most would have missed. Zara, Ilara called out to the ship's AI, "Run a full spectrum analysis on that section of the nebula. Something's not right." "Analyzing, Captain," Zara's disembodied voice responded, calm and efficient. "Scan complete. Detecting an artificial structure within the nebula. Composition unknown. Size approximately 500 meters in length." Ilara's eyebrows shot up. "A ship? Out here?" "Negative, Captain. The structure appears to be stationary. It does not match any known ship designs in my database." Intrigued, Ilara tapped her comm badge. "Bridge to engineering. Kira, I need you up here." Moments later, the ship's chief engineer, Kira Chen, stepped onto the bridge. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy ponytail, and there was a smudge of grease on her cheek. "What's up, Captain?" Ilara gestured to the viewscreen. "We've detected an artificial structure hidden in the nebula. I want your opinion on what we're dealing with." Kira's eyes widened as she studied the readouts. "Fascinating. The energy signature is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's pulsing, almost like it's alive." "Alive," Ilara echoed, a chill running down her spine. "Are you saying we're looking at some kind of organic technology?" Kira shook her head. "I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it's old, really old. The amount of cosmic radiation it's absorbed suggests it's been out here for thousands of years, maybe even longer." Ilara's mind raced with possibilities. The TSS Horizon was on a routine deep space survey mission, mapping uncharted regions of the galaxy. But this could be the discovery of a lifetime. "Zara, bring us in closer," Ilara ordered. "I want a visual." As the horizon edged closer to the mysterious structure, the nebula's gases parted, revealing a sight that left the entire bridge crew speechless. The structure was a massive ring, its surface covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as they watched. At its center was a swirling vortex of energy, pulsing with an otherworldly light. "It's beautiful," Kira whispered, voicing the thought on everyone's mind. Ilara nodded, but her tactical mind was already assessing the situation. "It's also potentially dangerous. Zara, are you detecting any signs of life or active systems?" "Negative, Captain. The structure appears to be dormant. However, I am detecting faint energy fluctuations at regular intervals." "A beacon," Ilara mused. "Or maybe some kind of distress signal." Before anyone could respond, the ship was rocked by a sudden burst of energy. Alarms blared as the crew scrambled to maintain their footing. "Report," Ilara shouted, gripping her chair. "Energy surge from the structure," Zara reported. "It appears to have activated some kind of tractor beam. We're being pulled in." Ilara's mind raced through their options. "Kira, can we break free?" The engineer's fingers flew over her console. "Negative, Captain. The force is too strong. Our engines can't overcome it." As the horizon was inexorably drawn towards the ancient ring, Ilara made a decision. "All hands, brace for impact. Zara, divert all power to shields." The crew held their breath as the ship passed through the swirling vortex at the center of the ring. For a moment, everything went dark. Then, with a flash of blinding light, they emerged somewhere else. The viewscreen showed a star field entirely different from the one they had just left. The nebula was gone, replaced by the looming presence of an unfamiliar planet. "Zara, where are we?" Ilara demanded, her voice tight with tension. "Unknown, Captain. Star patterns do not match any in my database. We appear to have been transported to a different part of the galaxy." As the implications of their situation sank in, a new alarm sounded. "Captain," Zara announced, "I'm detecting a small craft on an intercept course. It appears to be damaged." Ilara straightened in her chair. First contact with an unknown alien species was always a delicate situation, and now they were in unknown space with no idea how to get home. "Hail them," she ordered, smoothing down her uniform. The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made Ilara's breath catch in her throat. The alien before her was humanoid, but with striking differences. Its skin was a pale lavender, with intricate patterns swirling across its surface. Large, almond-shaped eyes of deep indigo gazed back at her, filled with a mixture of fear and hope. "This is Captain Ilara Voss of the TSS Horizon," she said, keeping her voice calm and steady. "We mean you no harm. Do you require assistance?" The alien's eyes widened, and it spoke in a melodious language that Ilara couldn't understand. Zara's translation matrix kicked in, and a moment later, she heard the alien's words in English. "Please, help us," the alien pleaded. "Our ship is failing. We are the last of our kind, fleeing from those who would destroy us." Ilara exchanged a glance with Kira. The engineer nodded, already anticipating the captain's decision. "We'll bring you aboard," Ilara said. "Prepare for docking." As the alien ship was guided into the Horizon's shuttle bay, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled onto something far bigger than a simple rescue mission. The ancient ring structure, the mysterious transportation across the galaxy, and now these refugees fleeing from an unknown threat. It all pointed to a cosmic puzzle that they were now inexorably part of. Little did Ilara know that this encounter would be the beginning of an adventure that would challenge everything she thought she knew about the universe and humanity's place in it. As she made her way to the shuttle bay to greet their unexpected guests, she steeled herself for whatever might come next. The doors to the shuttle bay hissed open, revealing the damaged alien craft nestled within. Ilara, flanked by Kira and the ship's security chief, Lieutenant Rajesh Patel, approached cautiously. The alien vessel was unlike anything they had ever seen, its organic curves and pulsing bioluminescent patterns suggesting a level of technology far beyond their own. As they watched, a section of the ship's hull seemed to melt away, forming a seamless opening. From within emerged three figures, each as striking as the one they had seen on the viewscreen. The aliens moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost choreographed, their movements in perfect harmony. The lead alien, taller than the others and with more elaborate markings, stepped forward. It placed a hand on its chest and bowed slightly. "I am Zilara, last custodian of the Nexus. We thank you for your aid, Captain Ilara Voss." Ilara blinked in surprise. "You know my name?" Zilara's lips curved in what might have been a smile. "We have been watching your approach since you activated the gateway. Your kindness in offering assistance confirms what we have hoped, that your species might be the ones we have been waiting for." Ilara's mind reeled. Gateway, waiting. There were so many questions, but first things first. "Are any of you injured? We can provide medical assistance if needed." Zilara shook its head. "Our bodies heal quickly, but our ship," it gestured to the vessel behind them, "it is dying. Without it, we cannot complete our mission." "And what mission is that?" Lieutenant Patel asked, his hand resting casually on his sidearm. Zilara's expression grew solemn. "To save the universe from a threat older than time itself. A threat that has already consumed countless worlds and civilizations. A threat that now turns its gaze upon your galaxy." The weight of Zilara's words hung heavy in the air. Ilara felt a chill run down her spine, but she kept her voice steady. "That's quite a claim. I think we need to discuss this further. Please, come with us to our conference room. We have much to talk about." As they made their way through the corridors of the Horizon, Ilara couldn't help but notice the reactions of her crew. Some stared in open amazement at their alien guests, while others shrank back in fear. She made a mental note to address the crew later. If they were going to help these beings, And she had a feeling they would. Everyone would need to be on board. In the conference room, Zilara and its companions settled into chairs that seemed comically small for their tall, lithe frames. Ilara took a seat at the head of the table, with Kira and Rajesh flanking her. "All right," Ilara said, leaning forward. "Let's start at the beginning. Who are you, and what exactly is this threat you're talking about?" Zilara's large eyes seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "We are the Astray, one of the eldest races in the universe. For millions of years, we have been the guardians of the Nexus, a network of gateways that connect distant parts of the cosmos. But now, we are all that remains of our once great civilization." The alien's voice took on a mournful tone. "The threat we face is known as the Void. It is not a species or an empire, but a fundamental flaw in the fabric of reality itself. A cosmic cancer that spreads, consuming everything in its path and leaving only nothingness behind." Kira leaned in, her scientific curiosity piqued. "But how is that possible? It violates every law of physics we know." "Your understanding of physics is limited," one of the other Astrays said, its tone not unkind. "There are forces at work in the universe that your science has not yet glimpsed." Ilara held up a hand, sensing the conversation could quickly veer into incomprehensible territory. "Let's focus on the practical. This void, how does it spread? How do we fight it?" Zilara's expression grew grim. "The void spreads through tears in the fabric of space-time. These tears can occur naturally, but they can also be created artificially. Our ancestors built the Nexus as a way to monitor and seal these tears before they could grow. But now the void has grown too strong," Ilara finished, beginning to understand the scale of the problem. Zilara nodded. "Precisely. Our numbers have dwindled, and we can no longer maintain the entire network. That is why we have been searching for a species with the potential to join us in our fight. A species with the intelligence, adaptability, and compassion needed to become new guardians of the Nexus." Ilara sat back, her mind reeling. "And you think humans are that species?" "We hope so," Zilara said softly. "The gateway you activated was a test. Only a species with the right combination of technological advancement and innate psionic potential could have done so. You passed that test, Captain Ilara Voss. Now we ask for your help, not just for our sake, but for the sake of all life in the universe." The conference room fell silent as the weight of Zilara's words sank in. Ilara looked at her officers, seeing the same mix of disbelief, fear, and determination that she felt reflected in their eyes. Finally, Ilara spoke. "What you're asking, it's enormous. We're just one ship, with a crew of 250. We don't have the authority to commit our entire species to this fight." Zilara leaned forward, its eyes intense. "We understand, but time is short. Already, we detect signs that the void is encroaching on the edges of your galaxy. If we do not act soon, it may be too late." Ilara stood, pacing the length of the conference room. Her mind raced through the implications, the risks, the potential consequences of both action and inaction. Finally, she turned to face the Astray. "I can't speak for all of humanity," she said slowly, "but I can speak for this ship and this crew. If what you're saying is true, and I believe it is, then we have a duty to help. Not just to our own species, but to all life in the universe." She saw Kira and Rajesh nod in agreement, their faces set with determination. "Tell us what you need," Ilara continued. "We'll do everything in our power to assist you." Zilara rose, its tall form seeming to fill the room. "Thank you, Captain. Your courage gives us hope. The first step is to repair our ship. Once that is done, we must journey to the nearest Nexus hub. There we can begin the process of teaching you and your crew how to use the ancient technologies that power the gateways." Ilara nodded. "Kira, assemble a team to assist with the repairs. Rajesh, I want you to begin training exercises. If we're going to be facing unknown threats, we need to be prepared." As her officers moved to carry out her orders, Ilara turned back to Zilara. "I have to warn you. Once we make contact with Earth, there will be those who fear you, who may even want to exploit your technology for their own gain. Are you prepared for that? Zilara's expression was serene. We have faced fear and greed before, Captain, but we have also seen great acts of kindness and sacrifice. We believe in the potential of your species. Together, we may yet save the universe from the encroaching darkness. As Ilara looked out the viewport at the unfamiliar stars, she felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. They were about to embark on a journey unlike any in human history, a journey that would take them to the very edges of the known universe and beyond. Little did she know that this was just the beginning. The trials they would face, the wonders they would witness, and the sacrifices they would have to make were beyond anything she could imagine. But in that moment, as human and Astray stood side by side, a new chapter in the cosmic story was beginning, one that would determine the fate of all existence. The adventure had only just begun. The cosmic crucible. The TSS Horizon hummed with a newfound energy as its crew worked alongside the Astray to prepare for their unprecedented journey. Captain Ilara Voss stood in the newly christened Nexus Lab, a repurposed cargo bay now filled with a dizzying array of alien technology. At the center of the room stood a pulsing crystalline structure that Zilara had called a quantum resonance matrix. "All right, Kira," Ilara said to her chief engineer, who was hunched over a console covered in holographic symbols. "Give me the rundown. What exactly are we dealing with here?" Kira's eyes sparkled with excitement as she launched into an explanation. "It's incredible, Captain. The Astray technology doesn't just bend the laws of physics, it rewrites them entirely. This quantum resonance matrix, it's like a universal translator, but for reality itself." Ilara raised an eyebrow. "Care to elaborate on that?" "Gladly," Kira grinned. "You see, every universe, and there are infinite universes, by the way, operates on its own set of physical laws. The Matrix allows us to speak the language of these different realities. It's how we'll be able to navigate the Nexus and seal the tiers in space-time." As if on cue, Zilara glided into the room, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with a soft, calming light. "Your engineer grasps our technology with remarkable speed, Captain. It is most impressive." Ilara nodded, a hint of pride in her voice. "Kira's the best in the fleet. If anyone can help us merge our technology with yours, it's her." Zilara's expression grew serious. "Time grows short. We must depart for the nearest Nexus hub soon. The Void's expansion accelerates with each passing moment." As if to punctuate Zilara's words, a violent tremor shook the ship. Alarms blared as Ilara stumbled, catching herself on a nearby console. "Zara," she called out to the ship's A. "Report." "Spatial anomaly detected, Captain," Zara's calm voice replied. "A tear in the fabric of space-time is forming approximately 500,000 kilometers from our position." Zilara's eyes widened in alarm. "It begins. The Void seeks to consume this sector." Ilara's mind raced. They weren't ready. The repairs to the Astray ship weren't complete, and her crew was still grappling with the alien technology. But they were out of time. "Zara, alert all hands." "We're moving out," Ilara ordered. She turned to Zilara. "Can your ship make the journey?" The Astray nodded sullenly. "It must. We have no choice." As the crew scrambled to their stations, Ilara felt a weight settle on her shoulders. They were about to leap into the unknown, armed with technology they barely understood, to face a threat that defied comprehension. The journey to the Nexus hub was like nothing Ilara had ever experienced. The Horizon, linked to the Astray vessel by shimmering energy tethers, plunged into a swirling vortex of light and color. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist around them as they traversed the cosmic highways of the Nexus. When they emerged, Ilara's breath caught in her throat. Before them floated a massive structure that defied description. It was as if someone had taken a city, turned it inside out, and then folded it through dimensions that shouldn't exist. Streams of energy flowed between towering spires, and at its heart pulsed a light so bright it seemed to illuminate the very fabric of space. "The Nexus Prime," Zilara announced, its voice filled with reverence. "The first and greatest of the hubs, built by the precursors eons ago." As the horizon approached the impossibly vast structure, a beam of light engulfed the ship. Ilara tensed, ready for anything, but Zilara raised a hand in reassurance. "Do not be alarmed, it is scanning us, verifying our right to enter." Moments later, a section of the hub seemed to unfold, revealing a docking bay large enough to house entire fleets. As they maneuvered inside, Ilara saw ships of designs so alien and diverse that her mind struggled to comprehend them. "Are these other species?" she asked, gesturing to the assembled vessels. Zilara nodded. "Yes, remnants of civilizations touched by the void, seeking refuge and a chance to fight back. You are not alone in this struggle, Captain Voss." As they disembarked, Ilara and her senior staff found themselves in a vast chamber that seemed to defy Euclidean geometry. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved about with purpose, some recognizably humanoid, others so strange that Ilara's eyes slid off them as if unable to process what they were seeing. A figure approached, its form constantly shifting like smoke given life. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in Ilara's mind. "Welcome, children of Earth," it said. "I am the curator, keeper of Nexus Prime. Your arrival has long been foretold." Ilara straightened, doing her best to project confidence. "We're honored to be here, curator. But I must admit, we're a bit out of our depth. We've come seeking answers and a way to stop the void." The curator's form rippled, and Ilara had the distinct impression it was smiling. "Answers you shall have, brave one. But first, you must understand the true nature of your enemy and of yourselves." With a gesture, the curator summoned a swirling vortex of energy that enveloped Ilara and her team. Images and sensations flooded their minds: the birth of stars, the death of galaxies, the intricate web of reality itself. The void is not merely a force of destruction, the curator's voice echoed in their thoughts. It is the absence of possibility, the negation of potential, and you humans are creatures of infinite potential. The visions shifted, showing Earth's history, its triumphs and tragedies, its moments of profound beauty and terrible darkness. "Your species stands at a crossroads," the curator continued. "You have the power to reshape reality itself, to rewrite the very laws of existence. But with that power comes great responsibility and great danger." As the visions faded, Ilara found herself back in the chamber, her mind reeling from the cosmic download. She looked at her team and saw the same mix of awe and determination reflected in their eyes. "So," she said, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands, "how do we harness this potential? How do we stop the void?" The curator's form coalesced into something almost humanoid. "That, Captain Voss, is what you must discover for yourselves. The power lies within you, within all humans. You must learn to awaken it, to shape it, to wield it in defense of all creation." Zilara stepped forward, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with excitement. "This is why we sought you out, Ilara. Your species has a unique gift, the ability to adapt, to evolve, to transcend your limitations. With the right training, you could become the ultimate guardians of the Nexus." Ilara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of an entire universe settling on her shoulders. "Where do we start?" The curator gestured, and a doorway appeared in the air before them, leading to a chamber that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. "Your training begins now," it said. "Enter, and take the first step on a journey that will reshape the cosmos." As Ilara and her team stepped through the portal, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were leaving behind not just their ship, but their entire understanding of reality. Whatever lay ahead would challenge them in ways they couldn't imagine, push them to their absolute limits, and perhaps beyond. But as the doorway closed behind them, Ilara felt a surge of determination. They were humanity's representatives in this cosmic struggle, and they would not fail. The fate of Earth, of the entire universe, depended on what they would learn and accomplish here in Nexus Prime. The true test was about to begin, the Quantum Forge. The air shimmered with potential as Captain Elara Voss and her team stepped into the multi-dimensional training chamber of Nexus Prime. The room, if it could be called that, seemed to stretch infinitely in all directions, its boundaries blurring into a kaleidoscope of shifting realities. "Welcome to the Quantum Forge," the curator's voice echoed around them, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Here, you will learn to bend reality to your will, to reshape the very fabric of existence." Kira's eyes widened with excitement. "You mean we're going to become reality warpers, like in those old sci-fi stories?" The curator's form shimmered into view, a swirling vortex of energy that vaguely resembled a humanoid shape. "In a manner of speaking, yes. But this is no fiction, Kira Chen. The power you will wield here is very real and very dangerous." Elara stepped forward, her face set with determination. "We understand the risks. What's our first lesson?" In response, the Quantum Forge came alive. The air around them crystallized into shards of possibility, each one reflecting a different version of reality. Elara saw herself as a child, as an old woman, as a being of pure energy, all existing simultaneously. "Your first task," the curator intoned, "is to understand the nature of quantum superposition. In this realm, all possibilities exist at once. You must learn to collapse these possibilities into a single reality, the one you choose." Lieutenant Rajesh Patel, the security chief, furrowed his brow. "But how? We're not physicists or reality-bending aliens. We're just us." Zilara, who had been observing silently, stepped forward. Its bioluminescent patterns pulsed with a soothing rhythm. "That is precisely why you were chosen, Rajesh. Your humanity, your ability to imagine, to dream, to believe in the impossible, is your greatest strength." Over the next few hours, or was it days, time seemed to lose all meaning in the Quantum Forge. Elara and her team underwent a crash course in cosmic manipulation. They learned to focus their thoughts, to channel their will into reshaping the quantum fabric around them. It wasn't easy. More than once, Elara found herself lost in a maze of fractured realities, her own memories and desires tangling with the infinite possibilities of the multiverse. But each time, she fought her way back, her determination growing stronger with each challenge. As they trained, the curator and Zilara explained more about the nature of the void and the role of the Nexus. "The Nexus is more than just a network of gateways," Zilara explained, its voice filled with reverence. "It is the skeleton of reality itself, the framework upon which the multiverse is built. The void seeks to corrode this framework, to unravel the very fabric of existence." The curator's form rippled with what might have been concern, and it is growing stronger. "Already, we have lost contact with several outer hubs. The void consumes faster than we can contain it." Elara paused in her training, a bead of sweat rolling down her forehead as she held a miniature galaxy in the palm of her hand. "Then we need to take the fight to the void itself. How do we do that?" The curator and Zilara exchanged a glance that spoke volumes. "There is a way," the curator said slowly, "but it is dangerous beyond measure. We would need to travel to the edge, the boundary between existence and non-existence." Kira's eyes widened. "The edge, you mean, like the end of the universe?" "Not quite," Zilara replied. "The edge is difficult to explain in your terms. It is where reality frays, where the laws of physics break down completely. It is also where the void is strongest." Elara closed her fist, the miniature galaxy disappearing in a puff of stardust. "And let me guess, no one who's gone to the edge has ever returned." The curator's form pulsed with what might have been approval. "You grasped the situation quickly, Captain Voss. Yes, many have tried to reach the edge. None has succeeded, until now." With a gesture, the curator summoned a holographic display that filled the Quantum Forge. It showed a massive ship, unlike anything Elara had ever seen. Its hull seemed to be made of living metal, pulsing with veins of energy. At its heart was a sphere of pure darkness, contained within a lattice of impossibly thin filaments. "Behold the eschaton," the curator announced. "A vessel designed to traverse the untraversable, to sail the seas of unreality. With it, we may be able to reach the edge and confront the void directly." Ilara studied the ship, her mind racing with possibilities. "And you want us to crew this ship, to take it to the edge?" Zilara stepped forward, its eyes meeting Ilara's. "Not just crew it, Captain. We want you to command it." The weight of those words settled over Ilara like a physical force. She looked at her team, Kira, her eyes shining with the thrill of scientific discovery. Rajesh, his face set with grim determination, and the others, each coming to terms with the monumental task before them. "I won't order anyone to come with me," Ilara said, her voice steady. "This mission, it's beyond anything we've ever faced. There's a good chance we won't come back." Kira stepped forward without hesitation. "I'm in, Captain. Someone's got to keep that ship running, and I'd like to see them find a better engineer in this universe or any other." Rajesh nodded, a hint of a smile on his usually serious face. "You'll need someone to keep you all out of trouble. Count me in." One by one, the rest of the team voiced their agreement. Ilara felt a swell of pride and gratitude. These were more than just her crew now. They were pioneers, standing on the brink of the greatest adventure in human history. The curator's form pulsed with approval. "Then it is decided. You will undergo final preparations, and then you will embark on a journey to save not just your world, but all of creation." As the team dispersed to begin their preparations, Ilara found herself alone with Zilara. The astray's bioluminescent patterns had dimmed, reflecting a more somber mood. "There's something you're not telling us," Ilara said, her intuition kicking in. "Something about this mission to the edge." Zilara was silent for a long moment before responding. "You are perceptive, Ilara Voss. Yes, there is more at stake than even the curator has revealed. The void, it is not just a force of destruction. It is aware, and it hungers." A chill ran down Ilara's spine. "You mean it's alive, conscious?" "In a way we cannot fully comprehend," Zilara nodded. "And it has taken notice of your species. The potential within humanity. It terrifies the void. That is why it moves against your galaxy with such ferocity." Ilara absorbed this information, her mind reeling with the implications. So this mission, it's not just about saving the universe, it's about the very future of humanity. Zilara's eyes met Ilara's, filled with a mixture of hope and fear. "Indeed, the void seeks to extinguish your potential before it can be fully realized. Your journey to the edge is more than a battle for survival. It is a race to claim humanity's cosmic destiny." As Ilara left the quantum forge to prepare for the mission ahead, she felt the weight of not just her crew, not just Earth, but the entire human race resting on her shoulders. They were about to embark on a journey beyond the edge of reality itself, to face a foe that defied comprehension. But as she looked back at the shimmering portal of the quantum forge, Ilara felt a surge of determination. They had been chosen for this task, and they would not fail. Humanity's potential was limitless, and it was time to prove it to the cosmos. The stage was set, the eschaton awaited, and beyond, at the very edge of existence, the greatest battle in the history of the universe was about to begin. The eschaton's awakening. The colossal hangar bay of Nexus Prime thrummed with an energy that seemed to defy the laws of physics. At its center, the eschaton loomed, a behemoth of impossible geometry and pulsing bioluminescence. Captain Ilara Voss stood before it, her newly assembled crew at her side, each of them transformed by their training in the quantum forge. "It's time," Ilara announced, her voice carrying a weight of authority that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of spacetime. "We're about to embark on a journey that will redefine the meaning of existence itself." As if responding to her words, the eschaton's hull rippled, patterns of light dancing across its surface like synapses firing in a cosmic brain. The ship was alive, in a sense that defied conventional understanding. Kira Chen, her eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and trepidation, stepped forward. Captain, the Escaton's systems are, well, they're beyond anything we've ever encountered. It's not just a ship, it's a living extension of the multiverse itself. Rajesh Patel, the security chief, nodded grimly. And our weapons? Let's just say unconventional doesn't begin to cover it. We're armed with probability manipulators, causality inverters, and something the curator called existential erasers. Ilara took a deep breath, centering herself. The weight of their mission pressed down on her, but she refused to let it crush her spirit. Remember your training. We're not just soldiers or scientists anymore. We're reality's last line of defense. As the crew began to board, Zilara approached Ilara, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with an urgent rhythm. Captain Voss, there's something you must know before you depart. The void, it's not just coming for your galaxy, it's coming for you, specifically. Ilara's brow furrowed. Me? Why? Zilara's eyes seemed to peer into Ilara's very soul. Because you, Ilara Voss, are a nexus point, a living confluence of possibilities, a node in the great web of reality. Your potential, it's beyond anything we've ever seen, and that makes you the Void's primary target. The revelation hit Ilara like a physical blow. She had sensed there was something different about her, especially during their training, but this was beyond her wildest imagination. What does this mean for the mission? She asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her mind. It means, Zilara replied sullenly, that the fate of all existence may rest on your shoulders. The choices you make, the paths you choose, they will resonate across the multiverse. With those weighty words hanging in the air, Ilara boarded the Escaton. The interior of the ship defied description, its corridors seeming to shift and change with each step. At the heart of the vessel was the bridge, a spherical chamber that appeared to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. As the crew took their stations, each interfacing with the ship's living systems in ways that blurred the line between organic and machine, Ilara felt a presence brush against her mind. The Escaton was aware, and it was communicating with her. "Attention all hands," Ilara announced, her voice resonating through the ship's neural network. "Prepare for dimensional shift, our destination, the edge of reality." With a thought, Ilara activated the Escaton's drive. The fabric of space-time around them began to writhe and twist, reality itself parting like a curtain before them. Through the view screen, if it could be called that, Ilara saw glimpses of other universes, other possibilities, flashing by in a kaleidoscope of infinite potential. And then, with a lurch that seemed to shake the very foundations of existence, they were through. The familiar starscape was gone, replaced by a vista that defied comprehension. Before them stretched an endless expanse of nothingness, but it wasn't empty. It writhed and pulsed with anti-energy, a hunger that threatened to devour everything in its path. They had reached the edge, and facing them, its presence a void in the fabric of reality itself, was their enemy. The void had taken notice of their arrival, and it was not pleased. Ilara gripped the arms of her command chair, her mind expanding to interface fully with the Escaton's systems. She could feel the ship's apprehension, its eagerness for battle, and beneath it all, a glimmer of hope. "This is it," she said, her voice calm despite the storm raging around them. "The final battle for the fate of all existence. Whatever happens, remember, we are the guardians of reality, the defenders of possibility itself, and we will not go quietly into the night." As the void surged towards them, tendrils of unreality reaching out to engulf the Escaton, Ilara made her choice. With a thought, she activated the ship's most powerful weapon, the probability nexus. Reality itself began to warp around them, countless possibilities collapsing into a single defining moment. The battle for existence had begun, and at its heart stood Ilara Voss, a human from Earth, now the linchpin upon which the fate of all reality balanced. The choices she would make in the coming conflict would reshape the very fabric of the multiverse. As the first wave of the Void's assault crashed against the Asphaton's defenses, Ilara felt a surge of determination. They were humanity's best hope, the universe's last stand, and they would not fail. The edge of reality trembled as two forces beyond comprehension clashed. The greatest battle in the history of existence had begun, and its outcome would determine the fate of not just one universe, but all possible realities. The quantum apocalypse. The battle at the edge of reality raged on, a cosmic dance of creation and destruction that defied all conventional understanding. The Asphaton, with Captain Ilara Voss at its helm, stood as the last bastion against the all-consuming hunger of the Void. Probability shields at 30%, Hera shouted, her hands flying over the living console that pulsed beneath her touch. The Void is adapting to our defenses faster than we can reconfigure them. Ilara's mind raced, processing information at speeds that would have been impossible before her transformation in the quantum forge. She could feel the Asphaton's pain as the Void's tendrils of unreality clawed at its living hull. Rajesh, deploy the causality inverters. Ilara commanded, her voice resonating through the ship's neural network. Target the Void's leading edge. Rajesh nodded, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly light as he interfaced directly with the ship's weapon systems. Inverters deployed, Captain. Brace for temporal shockwave. The space around the Asphaton warped and twisted as the causality inverters fired. For a moment, cause and effect reversed. The Void's assault happened before it began, creating a paradox that momentarily stunned the cosmic entity. But the reprieve was short-lived. The Void, a being of pure entropy and chaos, quickly adapted to the temporal distortion. Its next attack came from multiple timelines simultaneously, threatening to tear the Asphaton apart across past, present, and future. Captain, the ship's AI announced, its voice tinged with an emotion that shouldn't have been possible for an artificial construct. I'm detecting a pattern in the Void's attacks. It's trying to reach you specifically. Ilara gritted her teeth, remembering Zilara's warning. She was a nexus point, a living confluence of possibilities. The Void wasn't just trying to destroy them, it was trying to erase her from existence entirely. New plan, Ilara announced, her mind already calculating the risks. We're going to give the Void what it wants. Me. Captain, no. Kira protested, but Ilara raised a hand to silence her. Trust me, Ilara said, her eyes burning with determination. Kira, I need you to overload the probability nexus. Rajesh, prepare to fire all existential erasers on my mark. As her crew scrambled to obey, Ilara closed her eyes, reaching out with her consciousness to touch the very fabric of reality. She could feel the multiverse around her, infinite possibilities branching out in every direction, and at the center of it all, she felt the Void, a hunger so vast and ancient it threatened to swallow everything. Now, Ilara shouted, her eyes snapping open. The Asphaton shuddered as the probability nexus overloaded, reality itself buckling under the strain. Ilara felt herself being pulled in a million directions at once, her very essence scattered across countless timelines and dimensions. The Void, sensing its chance, surged forward to consume her. But at that precise moment, Rajesh fired the existential erasers. The weapons, designed to remove things from reality itself, tore into the Void just as it engulfed Ilara's fragmented consciousness. For a moment that stretched into eternity, Ilara Voss ceased to exist. She was everywhere and nowhere, her consciousness spread across the entirety of the multiverse. She saw the birth and death of countless universes, the rise and fall of civilizations beyond imagining. And in that moment of cosmic awareness, she understood. The Void wasn't their enemy. It was a necessary part of existence, the counterbalance to creation. Without it, the multiverse would stagnate, choked by the weight of infinite possibilities. With this realization came power. Ilara reached out, not to destroy the Void, but to embrace it, to accept it as part of the great cosmic dance. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as Ilara Voss, human captain turned cosmic nexus, made her choice. With a thought that resonated across all of existence, she reshaped the very nature of reality. The void recoiled, not in pain or defeat, but in surprise. It had sought to consume, to destroy. Instead, it found acceptance, integration. The hunger that had driven it for eons began to subside. On the bridge of the eschaton, Ilara's physical form reappeared, but she was changed. Her eyes shimmered with the light of countless stars, and reality itself seemed to bend around her. "Captain," Kira asked hesitantly, her voice filled with awe and a touch of fear. Ilara smiled, a gesture that seemed to illuminate the entire ship. "It's over," she said, her voice echoing with the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. "Or perhaps it's just beginning." As the crew watched in amazement, the space around them began to shift. The edge of reality was no longer a boundary, but a new frontier. The void, once their greatest enemy, now coexisted in harmony with the rest of the multiverse. "What happens now?" Rajesh asked, his weapon systems powering down for the first time since their journey began. Ilara's gaze seemed to pierce the veil of reality itself. "Now," she said, "we explore. The multiverse is no longer at war with itself. The possibilities are truly endless." As the eschaton turned away from the former battlefield, its course set for the unknown, Ilara felt a sense of profound peace. They had not just saved their universe, they had reshaped the very nature of existence itself. The adventure that had begun with a distress call in a distant nebula had led them to the edge of reality and beyond. And now, with the boundaries between creation and destruction blurred, with infinite possibilities stretching out before them, Ilara Voss and her crew stood ready to write the next chapter in the cosmic story. The quantum apocalypse had been averted, but the true journey was just beginning. As the eschaton sailed into the uncharted realms of the new multiverse, Ilara knew that their greatest adventures and challenges still lay ahead. The universe, in all its infinite wonder, awaited.